Lily and Nino. See grooming Lily. Just came in for the first time.
So Nino has just popped in. This is his first visit, and we're going to see how they get along. Zayda seems a little bit wary now of him, but when he was outside, she seemed to be quite interested. So we're going to just see how this materializes a bit.
Zayda and Nino.
Good morning, Lisa. Thank you for all of your support.
So you can see that Zayda is actually also going in his direction, like going back at him, like playing with him. Even though very nervous still. But I can really see some progress just after this afternoon, which is really great. So we'll just need to have a bond more with Nino, so that she's really not scared, not unsure anymore. And then hopefully she'll also be more fine with Satchmo. Although he's a bit of another level, he's way rough.
So Nino, of course, is quite boisterous, and he keeps on trying to grab onto Zayda's tail, but she also does instigate it every now and again. So it does seem like they are getting on, but as I say, he does play a lot rougher, so it is a bit of a rough on her. Don't think she's going to be able to take too much of it, and then we'll have to see if we can switch them out. Well, it does look like the games have begun, and these two have started playing or chasing each other around. So we'll see how they go. It is a good way of getting to know each other.
Lily is very curious to see what is going on here. She's been hanging around for most of the time that we've been there. Curious in the big sister she's bound to have. After some more play, Nino just left. And now Zayda can finally have a dinner. She's quite excited about.
Followers and supporters? Yes, thanks for everybody for joining and also taking the time to look at these monkeys and ask.
Nino found a ball to play with. Nino. Nino really likes Zayda's ginger tea. She gets it every day because of her chronic stomach issues. So he just came for a visit. With him it's quite nice. Zayda can get used to having another monkey in her space without being overloaded, because he drinks some ginger tea, he eats, he knows to entertain himself. He doesn't just chase after Zayda like Satchmo. So it's quite relaxed with those two, really. Zayda. Just here doing Zayda integration. Here's Nino. Zayda. We just got a visitor. Psst. Nino very interested in this creature. Zayda approaching Nino. She's very curious in what he's eating. She wants to give him a little sniff. So that was very nice. They're feeling a little bit more comfortable, although you could see she was very, very cautious. Nino and Zayda are now bonding over their dislike for the bandits. Stirring up trouble. We've also got Z outside. She's also not happy with the bandits at all. Zayda giving her best to scare them away with her most furious head bobbing. Zayda just came over to see for the first time. He was very cautious, but then started to groom her.
Natsuki's just behind this little bush. There she is, enjoying life in Engeltjie troop. Looks like her friend, looks like Luigi, come to join her.
Oh, this is just Maggie popping her head in, saying hello. This is Stick. He was a male that came in 2017 after being bitten by a dog. He had his tail amputated, so you can see there it's a little bit shorter than normal. He also had his leg pinned due to the injuries. He was fostered by Bizu, and you can see he's also doing very, very well at the moment. That's Buckingham that's just run past. He's a male that was born in 2008 on site to Aurora. He's a fairly large male, has got a long face with a wispy overhanging brow.
Jessie's been in sick bay a little while, and I've just given her her AM plate to see if she's ready to return to the troop, because she returned to her introduction cage recently, and now we're checking that she's alright to be returned to her troop. She had some diarrhea, and she really wasn't well for a good few days, and so she's had lots of treatments and some naturopathic treatments too for her digestive system. She is an old lady. We don't know her exact age, but she is elderly, even though she doesn't look it, but you can see she's eating all her spinach well. She's also had some other pieces of food now, and she does look like she's ready to go out, but also we wanted to check that there's no blood in her stools, and that, yeah, otherwise she's doing good. And Jessie's been a very good foster mum to many babies, so I'm sure she's looking forward to going in the troop. And Jessie rejoins the troop at Engeltjie, very happy. Sweet Mariella in Engeltjie troop. She was following air. And Natsuki's come to join her.
Found Luigi on the left and Mariella just playing.
Have you got there, Dustin?
This is Lola Bean. Got a bit of an injury on her eye that wasn't draining so well, so we took her to sick bay, where it's now nice and clean, and she's quickly going back to troop.
Okay, so just in for a day or two, fantastic. Looks like it's healed well, and we'll see how she does back in the troop again. It's always difficult when we've got monkeys that were kept in human hands, because then their behaviours are quite different. They don't always understand what they're supposed to do in a troop situation, so they can get bitten more frequently, but it's quite minor, so she'll be going back to troop now. Can hear the trooper looking to see who's back. As always, got an audience.
Some bread.
Lola Bean's chin is quite red, it's just from her beetroot juice this morning.
Yes, go out.
The spirit. It's Josh being cuddled by Ricky. So that was Ricky Joe playing. There he is again.
Here we go. Go away.
Uh-oh. She might go out with that-oh. Yes, go on. That's it. That-oh's usually quite good at taking them from the cages. So, there we go. Welcome from Josh as well. And she's nearly out.
I want to push her.
There we go. Oh. And she's back. And there she is, Lola Bean, back with Mum Matilda there on the right. Sat in a pile of food eating. And there we go, Lola Bean's back with Matilda, her mum, her foster mum. Just had to move my camera away from Ricky. Ricky was an ex-pet that loves to steal phones and pens and anything human-like that she can get her hands on. So you can just see Matilda in the background there, whilst Lola Bean forages, looking for something. There's Dylan approaching on the right.
The food piles are quite important for the monkeys, as you can see here, with this little one scratching through and looking for little grubs and insects and that to eat. The protein is very, very important to them. So we have to be very careful how often we remove it from the enclosure, so it does get removed regularly. But at breaking down there also helps to collect a little bit of the insects and things, which is important for their foraging behavior, and important for them finding other little bugs and insects. As you can see, she's doing it at the moment, looking for little things that she can find and eat. And this is also another way that the monkeys actually get their protein.
So Murray, who's 20 years old, has been in sick bay for a few days because he was having some bald patches, but also to the point where he was scratching quite a lot. So we pulled him into sick bay and have given him some treatment, and now it's time for him to go back to his home. And you can see that Aaron and Joe have done some maintenance work on it. They're just going to fill it with soil, and then there's this lovely tree. And there's this lovely tree that they've put in for him to enable him to have a bit more enrichment. And then because he's blind, he's got more sturdier branches. It's easier for the monkeys to grip branches when they're blind. or blind and old, should I say, as Murray is. So you can see he's got some thick branches. It's easier being blind and old if he can grip on to some nice chunky branches there, taking him up to his sleeping perch.
When you're ready.
Okay.
Intricate design. Basically, we want to have as much of a natural environment as we can. So we've got these nice branches of varieties. We've got some of the mango trees here.
Okay.
We've got 2 perches, so they've got a good choice to where to sleep. One of them has got a little, just in case it gets a bit cold or they want some privacy. And each branch here leads up there so they can climb up easily. We've got Murray and Colin in here. So Murray is a blind monkey, so it has to be somewhat simplistic. I've kept in quite a lot of the old branches he had, so he knows still roughly where to go, but he's got some new stuff to learn. And I've put in some new soil. We've got some diatom here. This is to anti-parasitical. This is the stuff to keep worms and stuff away. And then I've re-concreted the rest of the sides, because over time it starts to crack and starts to break away, and then mongoose, snakes and all sorts of burrowing creatures like to come in and make their home. And last thing I've got to do now is fix up all of the U-nails on the sides of the wood here so that the whole thing is secure. And then they should be ready to come in.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Looks really good.
Thank you.
Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. So I'd just like to say thank you for everybody out there that's been watching, sharing, donating, and being part of our big family. Really means a lot to us. We hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next week in the next episode.